Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Unboxed. I'm so glad that you're here with us. There are 11 signs. We talked about them last time. The 11 signs of an emotionally mature leader. And so over the next several broadcasts, we're going to unbox each of them. But before we get started today, let's recap those 11 signs. It's the exact same ones that we talked about last time. And we're going to go to the screen right now so we can unbox those for you. So the first one is maintaining one-to-one relationships with emotionally significant members of the relationship system. Number two, maintaining one-to-one relationships without secrets or triangling in someone or something to help manage relationship difficulties. Number three, observing relationship processes and symptoms rather than thinking cause and effect and blaming. Number four, observing what is going on in the relationship and the part you play. Number five, taking responsibility for the part you play in the relationship. Number six, the sixth sign is taking responsibility for your own emotional being and destiny. Number seven, being responsible and speaking for yourself and only for yourself. Number eight, sharing your thoughts and beliefs and hearing others without becoming defensive or argumentative. Number nine, living life according to well thought out beliefs and principles. Number 10, not making your salvation, in other words, your mature functioning, dependent on the functioning of others. And number 11, being able to stay on course when others sabotage you. The reason I always say emotionally immature, sorry, I put the wrong thing. So stick around, my friends, as we unbox your leadership as well as unbox your relationships. We got a great show today. I'm Dr. Robert Davis, family life educator and relationship coach. And welcome to Unboxed, a frank and straightforward conversation about relationships. We're going to talk about family, church, workplace, and all other types of relationships. Join me for the next few moments as we unbox the power and potential of relationships and help you to live your best life. All right. Come on in. So glad to have you. Before we get started, do me a huge favor. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. That's right. Hit like, subscribe, and share. Hit that notification button so you'll know the next time that we're going on live. And if you're listening to the broadcast or you're catching us on one of our platforms such as LinkedIn, etc., make sure that you visit our website. It's www.swg-unboxed.org. That's swg-unboxed.org. Okay, so the first indicator that we've talked about relative to emotional maturity is maintaining one-to-one relationships with emotionally significant members of the relationship system. Maintaining one-to-one relationships with emotionally significant members of the relationship system. One thing every leader has to do is to maximize his or her time. People can waste your time and they can waste your productivity. What people do to stay on track is to try to avoid those relationships that are actually going to be time consuming. First, great leaders build the entire team by being strategic about who they work with. Only you know your organizational flow chart and organizational structure, so I'm not going to try to tell you who are the people that you need to be working directly with. If people are reporting directly to you that should be reporting to someone else, that's a clear sign that you need to be more intentional about working with the people and maximizing your time and being who you need to work with directly. On the flip, there are people that we have to work with that we wish that we didn't have to work with because they get on our nerves or they push our buttons or they set us off. One of the leader's emotional maturity muscles, get this now, one of the leader's emotional maturity muscle is being able, forcing yourself to work with people that just rub you the wrong way. That's just the reality of it. You got to work with folk that rub you the wrong way. Here's a quote that I've shared with you before. I'm going to share it with you again. I'm going to talk about emotionally significant relationships. This is why it's going to tie everything in together here. Emotionally significant relationships are relationships that have the greatest impact on our feelings, thoughts, responses, and reactions. And as I just said that right there, you probably begin to write down or think in your mind of several people that you work with who have a significant impact. Either they can make you feel good or they can make you annoyed and frustrated, whatever else it may be. They can be good folk or they can be difficult folk. Okay, if a leader distances, runs, or avoids difficult people that they should be working with, then they will never develop that maturity muscle every leader needs. If you can only lead cooperative people, that's not leadership, that's friendship. And too often we've confused leadership and friendship, and we think that we're leading people when we're actually just hanging out with a set of our friends. Leadership is when people disagree, rub us the wrong way, annoy us, and all those other things, and yet we are able to continue to stay in relationship with them and to move the organization in the direction that it needs to go. That's the problem, to be honest with you. The problem with our fragile world today is we run from the very people that could make us stronger leaders because they're difficult to deal with. I've told you this before, and I'll tell you again. Too often I hear people almost like they're bragging about it. You know, if you get on my nerves, if you're difficult, if you rub me the wrong way, you know, if you whatever, then I'm just going to be done with you. I'm going to cut you loose. No. You can't do that. How are you going to build that muscle? How are you going to build your team if all you do is surround yourself with people that you hold hands with and sing kumbaya? First of all, it's not realistic because you want to make sure that you have the best people in place that know what they're doing and know how to do it. And if you're always getting rid of folk just because they get on your nerves, you may have a bunch of folk around you that are, you know, that pat you on the back and make you feel good, but you can't get nothing done. You can't move the organization anywhere because they lack the competence that's necessary. So I want to encourage you to recognize the difference between incompetent team members and annoying team members, or difficult team members, incompetent team members, and challenging team members. One-to-one relationships are so important because all the other 11 areas, well, 10 now that we've talked about this one, the other 10 areas of emotional maturity mean nothing if you can't practice them in one-to-one relationships. You know, anyone can practice abstinence when they're locked in a dungeon. You know, somebody's in a dungeon chained to a wall for 7 years, and then they talk about how, you know, for 7 years I practiced abstinence. Okay, awesome. And anyone can be a friendly, easy to get along with leader when they got a whole bunch of other folk that, you know, they get along with. My question to you is, how do you get along with people who again rub you the wrong way, who annoy you, who work your nerves, or whatever other term you want to use? This is where the rub is. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where the power of your leadership comes out, is when you have on your team individuals that you do not necessarily see eye to eye with, who have somewhat grating personalities or annoying ways about them, and yet you're able to continue to work with them in one-to-one relationship. And this is important because tomorrow I'm going to talk about another not tomorrow, but the next time we come together, I'm going to talk about another aspect of leadership relative to one-to-one that is so important. But suffice to say for today, we have to have these one-to-one relationships. What I mean is we actually interact with the person. We talk to them. We answer their telephone calls. We eat lunch with them. We socialize. We fellowship, whatever the term you want to use. And this goes for leaders. It goes for executives, executive directors. It goes for pastors. It goes for principals. It goes for all types of leaders. Great leaders are the ones that are able to maintain one-to-one relationships, even with people that they don't necessarily get along with. The last two presidents of the United States, we saw it. We saw that they had a very difficult time getting along with people that didn't agree with them. You go and have lunch with Mitch McConnell. I don't like him, so why don't you go eat with him? And you already know what the last president was like, and the way that he tore into anyone who didn't say good morning the right way. That's not real leadership. And that's one of the reasons why our country's in the condition it's in, because real leaders know how to think whatever you want to about Ronald Reagan. He knew how to interact with people that he didn't like. Same thing with Bill Clinton. He could interact with those who were trying to cut his throat, because that's what leadership is. Leadership is being able to maintain relationships with people, being in one-to-one relationships for the larger good of the organization and for the larger good of your own leadership development, even when you don't get along with them. Listen, this is how we unbox our leadership. We do it by unboxing relationships. I'll see you next time.
Seasoned with Grace Unboxed also provides healthy relationship training and leadership development for businesses, churches, and community organizations. For a free consultation to discuss your team's needs, please contact us at our website at swg-unboxed.org. That's swg-unboxed.org.